Hello, everyone. Let's get going with today's lesson. So 612, how can I move on a shape on a grid? So today we went ahead and did 611, and you got a chance to play around with that computer game, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you felt comfortable doing it. Well, we're going to move now from the computer game to a more concrete way of showing that, okay? So let's follow along here. Have you ever had trouble giving directions? Sometimes describing where something is or how it has moved is difficult. For this reason, people often use coordinate graphs like the one shown at right. Coordinate graphs help you describe directions with words like left and down. They can also help you measure distances. Today, you will work with your team, or basically on your own, to describe movement on a coordinate graph. You will also look at ways to describe where an object is on a grid before and after transformations. As you work, use the questions below to help you start math discussions with your discussion in your head. Ready? Is there a different way to get the same result? Did we give enough information? And how can we describe the position? So let's go ahead and try our problem. We're going to do one problem today, okay? Problem 6-8. While solving the key challenge in problem 611, Rowan made more than one move to change his key from point A to point B and from C to D, as shown on the graph at right. Both of these keys are shown as triangles on lesson 612 resource page. That is the resource page in the packet that I gave you, okay? So please make sure you check your packet. Please make sure you find lesson 612. Those of you at home, you will need to print this out and have it available to you because it really does help you with this, okay? You may need to resize a window if you're going to be using, no, I really want you to use a handout, okay? So your task, you are going to describe how Rowan could have moved each key from the starting position to the ending position using slides, also called translations, turns, also called rotations, and or flips, also called reflections. Now, here's the key things you have to do. You have to make sure you provide enough detail to describe the moves completely. You can't say things like move it this way, move it that way. You have to say how you're moving it. If you are rotating it, how you're rotating it. If you're reflecting it, how you're reflecting it, okay? Try to find more than one way he could have moved each key and be ready to justify your ideas with the class, okay? So that's the goal. So on your handout does have this right here. Page, you're moving the key A to B, and remember, we do have a wall here, and so we've got to find ways to move this key from its starting position to its ending position, and preferably more than one way to do it, okay? So what I would like you to do right now is I'd like you to go ahead and try moving it. You may use the screen here, or you can use your handout, however you want to do it. I want you to try to find a way to move A to B, and then I want you to actually write down the steps. Now, I'm just going to have you try it one way, and then when you're done, you're going to pause the video. When you're done, I want you to unpause it, and I'm going to show you one way. You can see if that's the way you came up with, and we'll go from there. Got it? So please pause the video now and try to find one way to get the key from A to B. When you're done, unpause. Okay, so hopefully you were able to do it. Let's see how you did it. This is how I would do it, okay? I would take this key and say, hey, you know what? I need to rotate it, but I can't do that now because of the wall. And so I think it'd probably be easiest to slide it down. Now, I'm going to go with point A, and I've got to count this and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So step number 1, what I would do is slide or translate down, got to say direction, 6 units. Okay, I translated down 6 units. That moves a key here. Now, if you can visualize what it looks like, I'm going to go with the triangle. It looks like that, okay? Next, I'm going to translate it to the left. How many times? Well, let's see. Step number 2, I'm going to do in blue. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So step number 2, I'm going to translate right 10 units. Cool. That gets me here. And now my triangle would look like this. Now I need it to get to over here. And the only way to do that would work in this case, well, there's a couple ways you could do it, but I think the easiest way to do it is to rotate it. Now, remember what we talked about yesterday, or basically in class today. If I rotate it, I'm going to decide what direction and how to do it. I'm going to go clockwise. Now, if I rotate it 90 degrees, it would get me here, right? I need more than that, so I need to rotate it again another 90 degrees. So basically, step number 3, I need to rotate 180 degrees, and I want to go with that clockwise. If I do that, that should get me to my triangle. So there is one way we could have done it. Is that the way you did it? Okay, maybe, maybe not. All right. If you did it, hopefully that makes sense. And even if you didn't, hopefully that makes sense. What's the other thing I could have done? Well, I could have also said, once I got to this point, I could have also said, hey, you know what? What if I reflect it? Imagine if I drew a line here. So this right here is when x equals -5. So this right here, this line is x equals -5. So I could, instead of rotating it, I could say step number 3 is reflect on x equals -5. Now what that would do was it would switch it, it would flip it to where now it's like this. Can you picture it, reflecting it like that? Now that would almost get me to the finish line, but it doesn't completely. So now I've got to flip it again, okay, or reflect it again to where it comes down. So I'd have to find where I can reflect it, which is at y equals -2. Reflect on y equals -2. That would be step number 4. And that would make this shape switch down to the bottom here. So you could either rotate it 100 degrees clockwise, or you could do a couple reflections, and that would get you to the point. You do have to have this written down one way or another that works, okay? So either have your way, if it works, or have one of my ways written down. Good? Okay, so now what you are going to do is you are going to do part C. Now, we need to go from C to D. Okay, we need to get from C to D. And you got to find a way that works, that makes it go there without running into these walls. See the walls there? Okay, so you are going to go ahead and come up with those ways. I want you to pause the video. When you're done, I want you to come up, when you're done, I want you to unpause and see if your way, actually just bring it to class. I think I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to stop the video right here. We did one together. So your task is to finish this. I want you to come up with at least one way to go from point C to D. And tomorrow in class, we're going to actually practice some of the ways you came up with. Okay? So find me a way to get from C to D. Make sure you write it down. Make sure it works. And be prepared, because I'm going to call on some random people tomorrow to show me their way. And we're going to compare to see if it works. Got it? All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow.